Hello everybody, I am T Commando. Welcome to part 5 of the Enterprise Refit build series. As you can see, I have some of the marking decals applied. I'm just going to go ahead and flip her over and show you the bottom. I have the bottom all done. This decal, and these decals, they're all pretty much easy to apply. But some of the smaller marking ones, they're a little bit more difficult, so you do want to kind of be careful with those. In fact, I might show you how to position one of those. And we're also going to be doing the Aztec panels on the warp nacelles. And I think we'll do the Waterslide Decals first. So see you super shortly. Alright, as you can see here, I am doing some painting. I haven't finished this part yet, so I can show you some of that. Yeah, you get into it and then you end up forgetting. So I'm painting the ring around here on the impulse crystal with a light duck egg blue. And you're gonna want a thin paint for this, especially if you want the detail to show through on this. So you just take a little tiny amount, not too much. Place some there. Place some around other places. And just try to avoid hitting the outside as much as possible. So yes, this does require a steady hand. You also want to make sure they get in as much of the little lines as possible. And if you need to, just refill your brush, but not too much. Because then you'll just flood the piece with paint. So, back in the paint again. Alright, so that's all done there. And then if you need to, you can go back over it again with another coat of paint, so that way you have full color. And after that, we're pretty much going to be doing all the little tiny decals. Those are pretty much the same, but I'll show you how to treat them differently. Alright, now I have some of the small decals right here, and I've been putting some of them on around the saucer. Now these would fall under the same kind of treatment as the ones that would go around the phaser banks and the lights. You gotta be really careful with them and make sure that they slide easily around the paper before you put them on. So, when you're preparing them, you treat them just like any other decal. You cut them out and you put them in the water. I suggest leaving them in there for a little bit longer, so that way you have a little bit more time to get them started. And also, put a little water on the side where it will be applied to aid in application, so that it can slide around and reduce the likelihood that it will break. So let's see if it's ready. I would say almost about. It's not sliding around yet. So we'll put it back in the water for a little bit. And I'll show you some of the other decals that we're putting on. So these ones right here, they go around the phaser banks on the saucer. And these go around your thruster ports, which are colored here in yellow. And the little circles, they go around the little lights. So, Now let's see if it's ready. Yep, she's ready. So you just kind of get slipped off a little bit and hold it down. Make sure it goes down. Now this is where you need to be able to slide it around, and that's why you need the water. So you just slide it around until it's in the position that you want it to be. And that's how you treat your small decals. Alright, so now I have all the wiring hooked up. I'm just waiting for the soldering iron to heat up, so that way I can secure these connections with the heat shrink tubing. And then after that, we're going to put the saucer on. Now, how you put this on, you kind of got to figure out your own way of doing it. Each way is different. Since this is already mounted on the base, I had to lean it up a little bit. The box underneath the saucer is just so that way I could hook up the wires. Once those are hooked up, saucer will be put on so that way it can rest gently on the ground. Because the weight of the saucer will turn the engineering section like this. And then it'll just rest there until the cement is all dry. And we can raise her up. Wow. That was tough. But I did it. The saucer is on. Yay! Yeah, the clamp is so that way it doesn't tilt forward. There are a couple spaces where there are gaps, but I filled that in with model cement, and I'll simply paint over that so that we don't have our light leaks. I have to say, this is a lot better. I will show you the Enterprise A and then come back to this. Here's the Enterprise A. Let's see if I can get some lights on for you. All the light leaks that are on this thing, they show up better in the dark. So I'm gonna close that. Yep, there's one. There's one right there. Right there. On the deflector housing, top of the warp nacelles. Even the camera can pick them up. And even right here. Alright, so there's a tiny one of the impulse engine here on this side. And that side. So I sealed that up with some model cement, and then I'll go back over that and paint it over. And then we're on to warp nacelles, which I have all assembled right here and right here. So I'll be right back and I'll be showing you those masks. Oh, and one more thing. Sensor dome is also on. The camera is not good for low light settings, but if you look at it in real life, it is casting some light onto the registry number, which we can't see. I painted the little windows both sides on both sides with black, and then masked off the areas that I wanted to have shine through, but still didn't quite work. But oh well, what are you gonna do? Alright, you can see I've got one of the warp engines here, all masked and ready to go. Now this is just one section I still have the top to do, and that's one of the first things I want to say. When you do the warp nacelle Aztecs, do them in sections, like the side, bottom, and then top. And also, take your time with these, because there are a lot of irregular places on these warp engines. So just take your time, do them in sections, and you should get good results. That's pretty much all I can say, because otherwise these work just like the secondary hull masks, where you do have to do them in sections, and you basically just review an interesting pattern if you're doing the 2-color. 5-color is a little bit different, make a color map. But I'm doing the 2-color, so I just need to go over this, over the side, do the top, and then it's pretty much ready to be put on. Now I have one of them finished up here, and it's currently, I'm just waiting for a little bit of the glue to dry. But otherwise, everything works. Strobe light works, the warp engine light works, and the floodlights work. I just need to do a little bit of touch-up painting to get rid of some light leaks. Same thing around the impulse area. I still haven't done that. And, believe it or not, I'm thinking I'll get another rod that goes around this, because this thing does not sit right all the time. Like, it might tilt one way or the other. Yeah, other than that, it's just one warp nacelle to go and it'll be all finished. So, I'll be back with you super quick. Oh man, we're so close. I've already got the heat shrink tubing on here already to secure the connections. The clear coat is dry enough to the point where I can handle it. It's to handle in 1 hour. I got all the decals that I want on here. And I got one of the other warp engines on. And everything is working good. Now this strobe circuit, that I kind of had to work around a little bit, because it worked. It's just a matter of to make sure that the wires didn't disconnect right here. I think they must not have been connected well enough down here. But I got that all worked out. Can't really see it, but it works. And I got these wires on the other pylon prepped to receive the warp engine. And hopefully I don't have to do that again. Hopefully I can just put these strobe wires up inside the warp engine as far as I can, and then, yeah. The main reason that I kind of had to work around with it a little bit is because I didn't trim my wires down. On the other side I did, so that should make it hopefully a whole lot easier. And one more thing. If you can't see them, but there's toothpicks. Yep, now you can probably see them holding this up. I'll give you a look at the inside of the base to see how it's being supported. It kind of wiggles around, and the pipe, it's chrome plated copper, and I'm kind of worried about it, so my friend and I were going to go down to the hardware store later today and get some pipe to reinforce that. And what would be optimal would be to find a steel pipe. That I could just paint black to keep it from rusting. Other than that, it's pretty much going to be finished. So I'll see you after the final warp engine is attached. Here we go. We have the Enterprise A and the Enterprise Refit right next to each other. Now, there's still some stuff on this one because I have model cement on here drying. But one thing that I've noticed, on both of these, the starboard warp nacelle tilts back a little bit. I don't know what that is caused by, but I think it's not as severe on the refit as it is on the A. Mainly because I did some modifications at the pylon bases to, get the warp nacelles to sit a little bit more correctly. Yeah. So, which one looks better? Leave your answer in the comments below. And I will be back, and we will not see all this crap on here. Now, actually, before I end this segment, the strobe lights and the warp nacelles, I did have some problems with that again, like they would go out, but I got the warp nacelle on there, and both of those nacelle strobe lights work. I think it's, I must not have connected the wires to the pylon base correctly, or not as good as I could have done. But they're still working. Now, about the one in the bottom secondary hull, that one was just kind of a lost cause. It worked before. I don't know why it stopped working. It just befuddles me. Alright, so I'll be back and we'll just kind of wrap this up. Well, here's the result of me having a look at my beautiful ship and then accidentally hitting it with my knee. Now, that was not the initial result. The initial result was the strobe lights not working in the warp nacelles. And I went back to the starboard nacelle. I played around with the wires there, shortened them up, just like I had done with the port nacelle. I shouldn't have let the nacelle hang by the main light wires. I probably wouldn't have had to go in here. Well, I'm gonna go in there. I'm gonna cut around the pylon base, and then I can just get my fingers in there and redo those connections. But yeah, otherwise the strobe lights still work. I got that all fixed up. So you see that one works, and that one works. Oh, frick. Okay, I'm just gonna take the tape off of this nacelle because I don't need it on there. And yeah, I'll show you the end result. Alright, here's the Enterprise Refit undergoing surgery. I cut along a conveniently placed panel line, and all I had to do is just reposition this wire until it made contact. Thank God it still does. And then I'm basically just gluing it in place. Now, of course, to accompany that, I'm going to be cutting a slot in the space to accommodate the wire. And then we'll just get this back on there as best as possible and rewire everything. Well, not rewire it, reconnect the wires. And then just put this piece back on, fill it in with putty, paint it over again, and put the decals back on. Now, of course, I thought I was going to have to take off this whole entire top, so I ended up taking off the shuttle bay too. Yeah, it's a little bit more putty work, but this is easy stuff. So yeah, if the glue thing works, I'll probably use a little piece of tape to keep it in place too. It'll be alright. Yeah.